Hey everyone, this is Dan from the North Country Children's Museum coming to you with a special activity, a arts and crafts activity that you can do at home called making a spectrograph. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to take some really special tools and devices that you have at home, like a paper towel roll. Luckily, it's not a toilet paper roll because you probably don't have many of those. You need paper towel roll, scissors, it can be clear tape or this type of, whatever this kind of tape is. And you're gonna take some electrical tape. You don't really need a little flashlight like we have, you just need some light in your house. And assuming your power hasn't gone out by this point, which it probably shouldn't because you're watching this video, you should have some light at home. You'll need an X-Acto knife or a utility knife, something sharp. You're gonna need your parents to help you out with this. Parents, be careful, don't hurt yourselves. Don't go to the hospital just for a stupid little cut. Don't overwhelm the system. Flatten the curve, people. And you're gonna need some tape and a piece of paper, marker, pencil, crayon, anything like that. And then at the bottom of this video, you should find a link where you can download a PDF with this special little design right here. We're going to attach it to the paper towel roll. So it's a pretty simple thing to do to make one of these, all right? So, in case you're wondering what this actually does, it is spectrograph, homemade, high-tech, very cool. What happens when you look through this and you shine a light on it, you see this little eye hole here that says look here. That took a lot of work to make. You're gonna shine the light through and you should see special colors lining up sort of like a rainbow. You can get a similar effect just by taking the CD or DVD. You guys should have some of these at home, I should hope. Because once the power goes out, well, never mind, the DVD player won't work, so never mind. But if you look at this, you can see obviously little rainbow patterns, and that is because the white light is being spread out into its spectral lines, I should say. Now, whoop, that's bright. One thing that you should know, that the reason this CD splits up light, the light photons are traveling through this top layer. Now there are a bunch of little tiny bumps inside the CD, so every single photon travels through a different distance of the plastic that this is made out of. Now when the light travels through, it hits several photons go farther down and bounce up, and a couple photons bounce right off the surface. Now those photons, coming from the same source, are traveling at different speeds, so to speak, or well, they've traveled a different distance to get to your eye when you look at it. Now, because of that, you're going to see it broken up into its different lines. Now, you can find other videos that go into more detail. I won't bore you here because I don't have fancy visuals for you. But one fancy visual I do have is this, and you can try this at home. It's super cool. We're putting light through a medium. Oh, it's okay. And the medium, sort of like this, is going to alter the way we see the light. So, I'm going to take this, actually. You can see it? I hope. We'll see. What's going to happen? Here we've got the arrow pointing this way. All right? So, what I'm going to do, you should be able to see the arrow is still pointing this way right now. Might be a little difficult to see, but you can try this experiment at home. Just get a big glass. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill this up with water. And water is going to refract the light through. And you'll see that it should completely shift the perspective of the arrow. So you can see it's pointing to my left, your right. Now it's pointing the opposite direction. No? Like that? Oh, it's just bigger? How about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes. We're very high tech here at the North Country Children's Museum. All right? But you can adjust it, and depending on the distance, you'll see a different effect. Now, you can highlight how distance affects this by turning off some lights. I'll be right back.
Bring the camera a little closer.
There's a shining light through here. Now, you should be able to see how, if I change how the light, like how far away the flashlight is from the refracting medium, it adjusts. You can try this at home. It's a super cool little thing. Now, in order to actually make this spectrograph, because that's what you actually want to do here, you're going to take this paper towel roll and, let's see, yes, you're going to cut up this piece of paper. Now, I'll probably fast forward this in editing. Now, what we're going to do, you're going to take this, fold it over, so it says, look here on the other side. Now, you may need to adjust the size when your printer prints this page out from either fit to page or actual size. These rolls are a little bit thicker than the ones you have at home, so they might take a little bit of editing on your end, but the file should remain just fine. Tape it shut, tape it sealed. Good enough. All right, you'll probably want to do a little bit more because you're going to be doing more work than I am, because I'm not going to cut into this line here. That's where the disc goes. Now the reason I'm not going to cut into this line for you guys on camera is because these tubes are so thick, I need one of these to cut through. Now, this is not something that you want to do next to your child, parents, if you're watching. But if you have a regular paper towel roll, you can do this with a regular scissors, or an X-Acto knife, or utility knife, anything like that. But these will not cut through this in any reasonable amount of time. So that's why. Now, once you've done that, you're going to use the X-Acto knife, utility belt, whatever you've got at home, and you're going to cut out the shape here. I'm just cutting the paper, not the actual hole, because, like I said, that's a little hard. You're going to cut out this little square until it looks like this. You're going to cut this out right here, so it's pretty stable. And then once you're done with that, once you've got these holes carved out, you're going to take a piece of paper. Black paper works best. Anything that can filter out most light. You're going to go on here, and you're going to use that marker, pencil, crayon, anything you've got, to trace a couple lines. Trace the circle around. Once you've got that, you're going to cut these out. We'll fast forward. Ooh, I was wrong, right? You're supposed to give yourself, you don't have to, but you really should give yourself a little bit of extra room around it. So you see, I cut out exactly the shape. The best thing you can do is actually give yourself a little bit of wiggle room around the edge. So maybe like half an inch or an inch, however much paper you want to waste. And then the reason for that is to make it so that when you put it over the top, you can actually fold the edges down over it. And you can do that by just cutting little tiny slits on the side to help the paper fold. So you should be able to see now it has a bunch of little pieces that can fold over. All right? This you're going to put on top of the paper, or on top of the tube, and on the bottom. Before you get to cutting, well, to putting it on the top, right? So this is the bottom of it, this is the top. You're going to take your X-Acto knife, utility knife, and you're gonna cut a little hole right down the center. Not a hole, a straight line. Right here. Try to make it straight. All right, so you see this little tiny hole here. It's not too big, that's fine. And that is where you're going to take the tape, the electric tape, if I can get this off. This is going to go, put one on one side of the slit, okay? And then the other one on the other side. Now, in terms of distance, I'd recommend taking 2 pieces of paper and having it butt right against the edge of the other side, and then pushing or having the tape match up as best you can. It doesn't have to be exact. You can adjust the strips, the tape strips as necessary, but you generally want a really thin seal. We don't want them completely overlapping. Now, all right, should look like that, the one that goes on top. The other one, much simpler, you're just going to put it on the bottom and tape it over. All right, so just to highlight, fold this over, and we're going to tape. See, there's one end. That's the top. That's where the light is going to come down, shine through. And, one thing I should specify. Hopefully you are watching this video in full before you craft it. Ideally, you should make it so that the slit is horizontal when compared to the viewing chamber, all right? Not vertical or in any other weird alignment. This is just going to help it so that the light coming down will reflect off of the CD or DVD disc much more easily. So, this one's wrong, but it's okay. You're at home. You can do this. You don't have a camera looking at you, so it's a little easier for you. Then you're going to do the same thing on the bottom, but it doesn't need the slit. It just needs paper taped over. All right, so I'm going to do this. All right, so when you're done, you should be able to look through this little hole here and not see any other light coming through, except for, well, the stuff coming through this little slot here. Now, when you put this through, you should see some spectral lines. Now, you can go all around your house, any source of light you have at home. You can hold this up to the light. There's one right there. Hold it up, and you're going to see, you might have to adjust it a little bit depending on the size of your paper towel roll. But you'll see several different lines, and those spectral lines would help scientists determine what the source of light is made of, what's emitting the light. So, scientists use this in astronomy to detect what kinds of gases and materials the other stars in our galaxy are composed of. Because different elements, when they're emitting light, they reveal different lines. So a UV light at home versus one of these LED lights, or fluorescent halogen light bulb, anything like those, will have different lines, spectral lines coming out of them when you view them through your special spectrograph. So, hopefully you're able to, hopefully you enjoy this activity more than, well, the other boring stuff you're probably doing at home, like figuring out, what butter doesn't go with. But, hopefully you learned something here. There are other videos all across the internet that can explain this with better graphics and go in more detail if you want to learn more. But for now, you can use this to go around and have people question why you are looking through a paper towel roll. Now, have fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this and continue to, hopefully you get to see more videos coming out soon. All right, bye.